Season 4, Episode 7 of Are You Afraid of the Dark? The Tale of the Silent Servant, which should be called The Tale of the Deadly Scarecrow, because this is a Scarecrow episode that is told by the scary, the horrifying, the morose, Betty Ann. And there's a morality to this one. Before we get to the main storyline, of course, we have an intro in this clearing where the Midnight Society meets around the campfire. And Betty Ann is here to teach Frank and Kiki, two rebellious kids of this Midnight Society, that you should not sneak into movie theaters. Yes, this is a very 90s problem. Frank, Kiki, and Betty Ann went to see a movie, and then afterwards, Frank and Kiki wanted to see another movie. They didn't want to pay for another movie, they paid for one movie. They wanted to pay for one and then see two, which you're not supposed to do. But everyone would do back in the day. My dad would do it. But I did notice that after two movies, you were pretty much done. I mean, technically, you could continue sneaking into movies. You already paid to get into the movie theater, but they might catch on. So Betty Ann stopped them from doing this. And I have to say, I think my dad was the master at playing dumb when he was caught. Because he would always just look at his ticket and be like, is this the theater for Armageddon? I thought it said Armageddon out there. Did it not say that? She throws dust on the campfire and begins to tell a tale of the silent servant. A farmhand named Crazy George falls asleep in a barn among some hay. The owner, John Earlstead, comes in and takes an item out of his hands. Kind of looks like a wood stick with two serpent heads. And then we flash forward 20 years and we get the main character, Jared Connor, who's doing what every kid in this series does. He's spending the summer with a family that's not his own. I think it's their way of removing him from his actual family. In this case, he's spending the summer with his cousin Ann Peterson in the country on a farm. Perfect place for a scarecrow. And after playing some baseball and smashing a window, they're told to do a delivery of some beans to Mr. Galloway, who's one of their neighbors. And as they're doing this delivery, they pass by the barn we saw at the beginning, Mr. Earlstead's barn. And we get a backstory that there's a legend. Mr. Earlstead was a sorcerer who would have servants working on his farm. In this case, we're going to get the Scarecrow. And Anne finds this talisman that can summon these serpents. Though I think it could have looked a little better. I don't know, had it shimmer more. Really, it just looks like a wood plank with serpent heads. Can they find like a cool sword or something? And they also find a Scarecrow, which they decide to interestingly take home, because they've been looking for a scarecrow, so why not just jack one from their neighbor's barn. Now, I started watching this episode before looking up any credits, but halfway through I noticed something was missing. I was like, this is missing a guiding hand. Why do I think this is not a DJ McHale episode? And I was right. Written by Wendy Brotherlin, directed by Jean Maria Comia. A fun name to say, but this is not her best episode. She directed Telephone Police and Prom Queen. Two episodes that I actually liked quite a bit, that had a lot of style to it. This one just has no style. It is as plain as the wheat fields. And both of the kid actors, Jared and Anne, overact their lines. In fact, it seems like they're trying to one-up each other. Jared will be shouting something, and then Anne will shout at the same time when they should just be talking in normal voices. They needed a director that said, hey, kids, just calm it down a little bit. You're just supposed to be talking about a talisman. You don't have to be like, oh my goodness, this talisman, it's crazy! And we do see the Scarecrow come alive at the end, but it's just not a very good monster. There's nothing very special about it. And while this sorcerer emblem has some potential, like maybe it can make some other stuff come alive, you only ever see a Scarecrow come alive. Supposedly this thing can have many other servants, but we only see one servant, a Scarecrow. So some missed opportunities here, and this one does seem rushed. See no special effects. The kids yell their lines. Ann Peterson's brother, Mark, is having a baseball game, and it seems like they weren't able to get an actual baseball diamond, because as we see in these scenes, they're just sort of meeting out in the middle of the fields, almost like they're about to have a raging 70s kegger. So I'm not sure what happened here. I assumed they were going to actually show baseball fields in a baseball game, and they're like, sorry, we actually couldn't get that one. So they just have these cars meet out in the middle of a field somewhere and put them in baseball uniforms. It's another head-scratching part of this episode. Why even have this be a baseball game? We don't see any part of baseball. And Mark Peterson is actually played by Tyler LeBen, who I didn't recognize at first, because man, does he look young. He was 16 when this episode came out, and he would go on to be a bit of a cult favorite of mine. He was in the very funny Tucker and Dale vs. Evil comedy horror movie that got it right, Rise of the Planet of the Apes as Robert, and in the very underrated show Reaper that was unfortunately on the CW and didn't get a long enough run, in 31 episodes as Sock, a series we will be covering. Since it's a comedy horror series, it's also episodic, so I think it'd work well for this channel, and also I love it. Anne and Jared are able to find Mr. Earlstead's gravestone, and they hold the talisman in both hands and chant the magic words. Only the true master can separate the dragons and transport the Scarecrow to them, then finish the incantation and demolish the Scarecrow for good. So for this episode, despite the fact that it has Tyler LeBen, he doesn't really do that much in this episode. He's a character that can be really, really funny, but here he plays more of like a high school bully character. I think Tale the Silent Servant is going to get a 3 out of 10. They can't even pull off the basics of giving us a baseball game, and this was a great opportunity to have other servants come alive. Hell, go full maximum overdrive and have a lawnmower try to run someone over. Maybe have a couple different scarecrows, show a demon, have something else. So, I'd say this is a subpar episode. Main character Jared is played by Jesse R. Tindler, who was in the movie Leaving Sarcadia, and actually did voice acting in one of my favorite games, Bully. He was Ernest. Will Rockstar ever make a sequel to that game? Considering it takes them 10 years to come out with the new Grand Theft Auto, probably not. But at least we have the HD versions. Next up is The Tale of the Room for Rent. And check out our playlists. I recently put them back in order. They should stay that way. Of the other series we've covered, Monsters, Fear Itself, Black Mirror, Mystery Science Theater, of course every single episode of Are You Afraid of the Dark, Twilight Zone, and we recently started doing some streaming. By we, I mean me. I started doing some streaming of the Monsters episodes. We got a lot of things in store for this next year. More live streams, interviews, collaborations. So subscribe and like.